Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick. I'm Matt, that's Alonso, that's Christy. It's Christmas time, pitches.
Yes,
last call pitches.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I don't
really
cold
believe.
medicine just kicked in.
Wow, I don't really believe this is going to be the third Pitch Perfect movie. I kind of feel like there's an opportunity for them to still make more. There's a lot of tearful hugging and crying at the end. But I don't know, I kind of feel like they're going to still make us watch more of these. It's the third Pitch Perfect movie. That's basically it. The Barton Bellas are all out of college now. They're at least mostly out of college except for Hailee Steinfeld. And so they still must get together to sing and to compete against other people and bond and have Rebel Wilson just be inappropriate in general. So this time they reunite for a USO tour. They go to Spain and Italy and France. And then it becomes a James Bond movie out of nowhere with exploding yachts. Take a look.
She's right there. The Barton Bellas, an unlikely group of not men who somehow managed to win at something that didn't have to do with baking.
I can hear you.
They've graduated college, have spread their wings, and are attempting to fly.
Papaya Player's Delight with a shot of white privilege.
Where are they now?
My name is Fat Amy Winehouse, so let's get cracking.
I quit my job.
You got fired?
No, I quit. It's fine. Oh, come on. This is an overreaction.
I would do anything to sing with you guys again.
You guys, every year the USO puts on this performance to support the troops in Europe. What if I could get us an invite? Yeah, I've suddenly got a bunch of free time, so hell yeah.
I do appreciate, the one thing I do appreciate about this movie is it is not a complete retread, right? So
No.
Pitch Perfect 2 was beat for beat and note for note Pitch Perfect 1. It had the same kind of conflict. Every character was the same pretty much. This one, I feel like they just went nuts with it. Trish C, who directed one of the Step Up movies, Step Up All In.
All In, yes.
And Kay Cannon, who wrote all of these movies.
Who co-writes with Mike White this time.
Yeah, Mike White gets a writing credit. Very strange. So they, I feel like they just went nuts and they said, okay, screw it. Let's just divorce ourselves from realism entirely and have Rebel Wilson be like this badass super spy.
Right.
And that was fun at least. I mean,
Let's
there's
go to
some
the
novelty
south of France while we're
in
there. Let's do a little spy action.
Yeah,
All right.
it's nuts. But at its core, it's still kind of the same movie, and the songs are peppy, but they're superly overproduced, and so it's kind of hard to actually hear what anyone is saying or singing, and the choreography is all the same, and it's fine.
This is the kind of movie that you just, if you're in the mood for it, you will forgive it. You know, and like you will sort of you will endure the sort of the membrane that connects musical number to musical number if you're here for the musical numbers. It's a better musical than The Greatest Showman, by the way.
Wow. Do we have to keep beating up on The Greatest Showman? Why don't we rewrite the stars, Alonso, and feel better about it?
Yeah, I mean, look, this movie does exactly what it says on the box, right? I mean, yes, it gives you a little bit more that, yes, you get this great action sequence, but there's, you know, because Rebel Wilson she's game for anything, and this movie it's sweet. You know, they're clearly having a good time, and that's kind of infectious. You know, like you said, you don't go in with crazy high expectations. It ups the stakes a little bit higher than what we'd seen in the original movies, and embraces the silliness, right? Like my feeling on this is, okay, we know that it's a stretch to get these women back together and get them to sing a bunch of songs on tour again. Yeah. So let's stretch it as far as we can and bring in John Lithgow.
Yeah.
He's doing this super over the top, like intentionally terrible though. I think like his Australian accent has to be intentionally shrimp on the Barbie.
I think he was studying like tapes of Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins. It's so bad. I mean, like these movies have always been fairly self-aware. You have, you know, John Michael Higgins and Elizabeth Banks as the sort of Greek chorus commentators. You have the running joke about how Jessica and Ashley are on stage but never have any dialogue. You know, I mean, yeah, I was never not entertained, but at the same time, I was like, this is not any good.
This is not good, yeah.
You know, but I'm not bored.
And there's a weird scene where you get this kind of speech from DJ Khaled, and it's like, did you guys? How high is he?
Yeah, right. So yeah, that's the whole point. The competition, the totally contrived, forced competition here is that other bands on the USO tour and whoever DJ Khaled wants will be his opening act. And this is where it gets super crowded and messy because you have like the pop country band and you have the all-girl band called ever moist, which is not really all that funny.
But they keep saying it.
We're ever moist, and then it's never that funny even the first time. And then there's a hip hop duo, and who are they? And
one of them is just there to fall in love with somebody.
Yeah, they're all a blur, and it's very crowded. And the John Michael Higgins and the Elizabeth Banks characters feel way more wedged in than ever this time because they're a documentary crew following the Bellas around to make fun of them. And yes, you have to have them in every movie. And Elizabeth Banks is a producer on all these, and she's great. She's always great. But all of it felt more forced, more jumbled, more wedged in, and like they're trying to cram that closet full of everything.
I think this is kind of what we were afraid Jumanji was going to be. Right? And Jumanji.
Speak for yourself, man.
One thing I will give points for these movies that I've always kind of liked, that I really sort of realized this time, is that the Anna Kendrick character isn't particularly interested in being a singer. She really wants to produce. And usually movies about women in music, they just want to sing, and they don't want to necessarily write songs or produce songs. They just want to be this sort of great voice and this vessel.
Because she really wants to direct.
So exactly. I just think it's interesting that her ambitions are in a different direction, but that they're more in a sort of like position of, sort of power and agency in the music industry, relatively, being a producer as opposed to being a singer. It's a small thing, but it's a nice detail that I like.
But then when she sits down at the console or whatever to like magically, spontaneously mix a song, it is like an American Idol song. Like to complain about the Greatest Showman songs, as you did, how they're all like American Idol songs.
But this movie has always been like, you liked Glee, so here's this.
Right.
So I don't expect anything more from this. But if you're going to give me a musical about a 19th century, entrepreneur, I don't want them to sound like American Idol.
Well, that's the charm of it. They went there with that. That was ballsy. No, but it's fun. And Rebel Wilson's a blast to watch, as always.
It's the best kind of whatever.
Yeah, well, hopefully there aren't any more. I mean, hopefully this actually is the end. Oh, but with the Anna Kendrick character, they do have that whole like music movie cliche of the lead singer having to decide whether to stay with the band or go solo. And so.
But they resolve it in a less cliche
it's
way.
Vaguely, it is. But it's like it's just one more plot device, one more thing, one more cliche. It's empty anyway. It's fun but empty. 5.5 is what I say.
Yeah, a 6.8. Like if this is your jam, if you've enjoyed this franchise, you'll be entertained by this one. And if not, then you weren't going to go anyway.
Yeah, 5.9. I'm not going to take a bullet for this one, but it's all right.
Yeah, so our number's a 6.1. These movies have made like $400 million worldwide, by the way.
And they were made for 10 cents.
No, those Bella Barton costumes are very expensive, lots of sparkles. So our number is a 6.1. It's at 31% on the tomato meter. I'm not sure it's that bad. It's a lot of like 2-star meh reviews.
Don't blame me.
Bye. See you later, bye.